The universe is a truly magical and beautiful space where all souls and beings of light inhabit in perfect harmony. This space gives us the wonderful opportunity to grow, nourish ourselves in wisdom, and materialize all the longings of our being. But as large as its commitment is to help us achieve everything we set out to do, so too is its responsibility to determine if we are ready to receive all that our vibration is pulling towards us, because no one can receive something for which they are not prepared. For example, an individual cannot receive a degree for which they have not studied or prepared, because when practicing that profession, they will be completely incompetent in the field. Another great example of the need to be prepared to receive what we are seeking is seen on Earth, and in the way fields must be prepared for planting, because otherwise, when receiving the seed, it will not flourish, and the precious resource will be lost. Let's see ourselves as a field, as land that must be prepared to receive beautiful seeds of light and make them flourish for ourselves and for others, because if it is not, it will be an inhospitable space for eternity. However, we were so perfectly designed that evolution is an integral part of us, and there is not a single person who does not progress in their process, even if it is not their conscious desire. That is why, in one way or another, manifestation ends up coming to us, which is a truly hopeful panorama for humanity, which depends on each of us to make that leap of consciousness that will lead it to inhabit that new dimension that awaits us with open doors and thousands of benefits for all souls. However, this leap will only be possible when humanity demonstrates that it handles levels of consciousness characteristic of this new dimension, and that it is completely ready to inhabit under the precepts and principles that are managed in that new realm, because our access pass to that promised land will be the balance and preparation of our collective consciousness and the individual consciousness of all souls living on Earth. But just as it will happen with humanity, in what concerns us individually, we must show the universe that we are ready to receive those treasures destined for each of us, as well as that we are deserving of the access pass to that new dreamed reality that presents itself in perfection for us, aligning perfectly with our desires, needs, and vibration. The demonstration of a high level of consciousness and of a being that has evolved will not be made in any other way than by overcoming the challenges that the universe presents to us. These challenges do not have a specific date or form. Rather, they arrive unexpectedly and sometimes in a subtle manner. With time, we come to understand that they were small tests from the universe to measure our evolution. The way these challenges subtly arrive and blend in with our daily lives is impressive. However, there are moments when we are able to detect that something extraordinary is happening. We even feel that the universe is rigorously testing us to see how solid the change in our interior has been, and how prepared we are to have what we fervently and faithfully asked for. So, if you have felt that you are indeed being put under a lot of pressure in those aspects of your being that you have worked on and modified, it is because the challenge you face is foretelling a great moment of triumph and manifestation from the universe. Therefore, we invite you to flow with this moment, with these challenges, and with the tests that your daily life presents to you. Amidst the reception of this information, many people may feel a great curiosity to determine if they are indeed experiencing this moment when they are tested by the universe, which heralds a great moment of triumph and manifestation of our deepest desires. That is why, at this moment, we are going to embark together on a small but profound journey that explores these most important aspects in the midst of that crucial moment. Our goal is not only to better understand the moment of our lives that we are experiencing, but also to strengthen ourselves in knowledge and discernment capacity to flow better with our process. Challenges and their connection with the universe and our process. The first thing we must understand is how challenges constitute an important tool of the universe that not only seeks to measure our progress but also aims to strengthen it. They serve to concretely establish the changes we have made amidst the transformational journey we undertake in this earthly plane. These challenges or trials are also events that have been carefully designed for us by the universe, taking into account everything we experience, do, and are involved in the midst of our life and process. There is not a single thing in the universe that is random or arrives in our reality simply by chance. Even those moments that in certain cases may seem chaotic are nothing more than carefully designed, orchestrated and executed moments by the universe to give us a little push towards the destiny marked by our soul. None of these trials are situations designed to tear us down. On the contrary, they seek to strengthen us and represent a moment of opportunity from which we can develop skills in ourselves that we never even thought we could develop before. In the framework of our existence, we find that our soul's journey is not only composed of those beautiful and joyful moments, but also necessarily involves these trials or challenges, which never arrive out of control or with a destructive force. No matter how much pressure we may feel, in reality, this force is intended to shape, strengthen, and foster growth. We should never view these moments in our lives as destructive or unfortunate situations, because by doing so, we are only condemning ourselves to repeat similar situations until, at some point, we elevate our understanding and learn to master the forces that present themselves in those specific situations. As has been said, the universe is a precious space of growth, understanding, and opportunities that invites us to be better, to evolve, and to move towards higher realms of ours, where we can easily manifest everything we truly desire and is good for our journey and the fulfillment of our purpose. Filling ourselves with joy and faith in these situations powerfully helps us to navigate the challenges in a smoother and faster way, because struggling against the current and expecting to eventually emerge victorious against universal energies is simply an impossible scenario. Part of what we must learn from the universe through these challenges and our process of evolution is that more than seeking control and setting the pace of our lives, we must learn to let go and flow with the changes that the environment presents to us, managing from there everything we can create and achieve in complete balance and harmony with the universe. Embracing these moments, even though they may at some point be painful or uncomfortable, is a fundamental part of overcoming them, which brings us assured success and unstoppable growth. Life gifts us with these spaces, these trials and these moments as the perfect opportunity to grow even more in wisdom, in discernment, in spirit, and in abilities, so we must learn to always see them from a positive and hopeful perspective. Let's remember that great changes always come accompanied by challenges that in one way or another solidify the knowledge and skills we are acquiring and give us the perfect space to demonstrate how much we have grown. Even when we have not yet completed the manifestation of our goal or objective, this stretch of our lives is an achievement that must be recognized, because if the universe is testing us, it's because with the strength of our being, we are pulling towards us what we seek, and the moment to embrace it is approaching, so we must show that the alignment of our being has been effective and complete. Let's open our minds and our beings to growth and to the acceptance of this period, from which we propel ourselves towards that golden moment when we take into our hands what we have worked so hard to create. Encounters, connections, and relationships. Although many may not understand at first glance the relationship between the souls that cross paths with us in our lives, our triumph, and the encounters we have as challenges, the truth is that this, like other aspects, is not random but comes loaded with meaning and opportunities to demonstrate the balance and wisdom we have achieved on our journey. Something that few like to recognize is the way others end up having influence on our lives and the energy that is managed within them. Because in reality, they would like to think that each one is an independent individual isolated from others. And despite being independent, what we cannot avoid is being connected to the rest of the souls that inhabit the earth, since even beyond the physical and earthly encounters, all beings that inhabit the earth are connected to each other. There is no way we can avoid the energy of the people around us from infecting us, either propelling us forward or knocking us down in our process. Much less can we avoid receiving knowledge from each encounter and event that involves another soul. Energy always flows. It is impossible to hold it back, no matter how hard we try. And although sometimes we don't realize it, our influence on others and theirs on us is wonderful, vast, and touches the deepest levels of our being. A person can even unintentionally confront us with the most delicate and well-guarded aspects of our being, because sometimes the mere presence of that other soul reflects to us what we need to work on in ourselves, making us become aware and address those parts of ourselves that may not be so pleasant for our being. Our soul can recognize in others the energy that composes them, attracting or repelling them, but in most cases using that as an enhancer of what is wanted and sought. Part of demonstrating readiness is also recognizing what still takes a bit of effort to internalize, and without fear or delay focusing on healing and strengthening that aspect of ourselves. As wisdom and readiness are not measured solely by the achievements obtained, for if that were the case, the path would be long and frustrating for many, but also measured by the way we internally seek improvement and we show the greatest willingness to overcome that internal barrier. It is important that we keep in mind throughout our journey that the vibration emanating from us is capable of attracting or repelling things, events, and even people from our reality. So in the context of relationships, bonds, and encounters, the way we grow internally will have a direct impact. Every person who comes into our lives, even if only briefly, brings with them a strong lesson and an energy that is necessary for our process. So even when it becomes more challenging, we must receive from all of them the knowledge that their soul provides us and allow them to be in our environment for as long as is appropriate. This last point is perhaps one of the most challenging for human beings, and it is understanding that people will remain in our environment for as long as our souls require it, because just as we nourish ourselves from the energy and knowledge of the other, that being also does so from our energy and knowledge. There will never exist a relationship that is unbalanced or that does not bring to both parties what they require, and many times understanding that is not so simple. However, it is necessary if we want to demonstrate that we are perfectly balanced to receive that moment of manifestation. And those souls that act as great teachers and catalysts of our process will remain by our side until we have completed our cycle of knowledge with them, not a day more, not a day less. Therefore, we must learn to flow with the arrivals and farewells, because all of them align with the path of our journey and with a greater plan that leads us to greatness and success. Although we may want to keep people in our lives for longer, it may simply no longer be their role to be part of our environment. And this also applies in reverse. So no matter how much we want to distance ourselves from certain souls, when life presents them to us insistently, it is simply because they still have something to offer to our process. Flowing with these ideas and principles is a key part of this stretch of our journey. So let's not overlook them, much less try to ignore the influence of other souls in our lives and the way they seek to help us beyond their own awareness. Alignment with our true being. Something curious that happens with the human being is that amidst their arrival on this plane, they seem to have adapted to the precepts and ideas that social interactions and the ego imposer, often leaving aside the way they truly are and were created. However, that true essence remains deep within us and will be revealed in the midst of our journey and our healing process. There is not a single thing hidden from our soul. It knows perfectly the truth behind us and seeks to lead us towards its discovery from a conscious side, for by doing so, we unlock absolutely all the abilities of our being and can use the strength of our soul in its entirety. This is not only a path of refinement and evolution, but also of self-discovery, because knowing ourselves is necessary if we wish to align with our purpose and the mission of our soul on earth. It's strange to think that the ego is so powerful that at certain points it leads us far away from what we truly are, want, and enjoy. But at the same time, it is so weak that by simply deciding, we have completely overcome it. Knowing ourselves is a beautiful act in which we have a date with our essence, with our true face, and we expose ourselves to our consciousness without fear of being judged or hurt. It is normal for there to be parts of ourselves that we do not like, that make us feel ugly, or that we see as imperfect, but this is nothing more than an illusion of the ego and an idea that social interactions have led us to harbour, because the reality is that no one is ugly or imperfect. We are all different, that's a fact, and in that diversity lies the power of each one. Just because a soul or an individual doesn't align with the ideals of others, doesn't mean it is imperfect or has any defects. The only thing we can determine from that is that its mission is different from others, and the role it plays is not regular, it's special and tailored to its soul and abilities. Recognizing and observing what we truly are must necessarily lead us to understand ourselves, and from that understanding, we can accept ourselves and use everything we have inside to our advantage. Let's accept our shadows and the things that are not so bright within us, because they often arise from wounds that have not healed properly. And from our consciousness, we can heal and honour them, taking advantage of the positive aspects they leave in us. As important as accepting and flowing with the energies of the universe and the events that come our way is, it is also important to recognise ourselves and align with our true essence, because therein lies the key to harnessing our abilities and strength to the fullest. There isn't a single person who can manifest without truly having discovered and entered into harmony with this part of their being, because often we see how an individual says they desire something, and when they encounter their true essence and discover what they are and desire, that longing changes completely to become one that is more real and aligned with our being. Discovering ourselves is a fascinating journey with a magical, enriching destination that allows us to experience the fullness of our soul and being in an integral way. Don't be afraid if in the midst of this moment of self-discovery, because it perfectly aligns with this testing moment before the manifestation of our greatest dreams. The sacred moments of solitude. An important part of this journey is when we are called to a deep moment of reflection, from which we can pinpoint many aspects of our inner selves that need to be fine-tuned just before this much-desired moment of manifestation. But this moment has a great peculiarity, and it is that it generally occurs in solitude, not because we don't like social interaction, as this is an important part of everyone's life. Rather, what actually happens is that unconsciously we find ourselves isolating involuntarily to go through this important stage. Our soul will unconsciously guide us to spaces of solitude where we can encounter ourselves and everything that our inner voice has to tell us. This time should be understood as a profound moment of introspection, from which we can bear ourselves to evaluate the parts of ourselves that need more light, love, and understanding, to heal and emerge as much more balanced and strong individuals. This is a very special space for each and every one of use, but it requires great concentration and the least interference from external actors possible. In a very subtle way, it ends up distancing us from anything that could hinder our internal work during this time. This occurs just before the manifestation, and it's a moment that can cause deep confusion for many, because if there's something that generally characterizes humans, it's that they don't enjoy solitude as much. Although there are obviously people who enjoy moments of solitude, this is not usually the case. And it's understandable that those who enjoy contact with others may feel a bit out of place when faced with this isolation to which our soul is voluntarily subjecting us. But it will be something that may not be so easily noticeable, because in a subtle way, these changes will occur, and by the time we realize it, we will already have been led to these moments of solitude and internal dialogue with ourselves. And although we have previously discussed this, it is necessary to bring up again the most relevant aspects of this time, as it perfectly coincides with one of those tests that the universe places upon us to determine how prepared we are for our moment of manifestation. One of the main characteristics that will be present during this time is our reluctance or lack of enthusiasm when it comes to making plans to socialize with friends, not because we appreciate them any less, but because from within, we seek to avoid crowded, noisy spaces or places with high foot traffic. Instead of this, we will see how our being begins to enjoy solitary spaces where it can be in silence and total connection with its internal voice, avoiding at all costs the noise from the outside world and the interruptions that other people can generate during moments of meditation and deep introspection. This is undoubtedly a moment of deep peace, tranquility, and harmony, in which we end up tuning in with our being and its true essence, so the present point is closely related to what has been discussed earlier. And even though it's easy to see the benefits of these deep moments of solitude and tranquility, some people end up not appreciating this precious space and enter into total confusion and imbalance during this stage. But there's really nothing to be alarmed about, and if we know how to surrender to what we experience during this time, it will pass very quickly, because in reality, this doesn't determine how we will now appreciate the world, much less a path that condemns us to loneliness and bitterness. In reality, we are just going through an important and personal moment. What happens to souls during this period should only be understood as another step to reach the destination that has been marked for us, and that we will soon embrace with love and joy. After we have internalized what is necessary and completed the work that we are supposed to do during this period, we will see how we are reintegrated into the social rhythm that we are accustomed to, but this time vibrating in a different way and aligning ourselves with people, spaces, and events that are much more beneficial for our being. Change is an integral and important part of our being, and we appreciate it from these moments. So instead of worrying about our social life and the pressures it brings, let's enjoy our own company and treasure these moments of reflection and tranquility. Resilience as our perfect tool in the face of the unknown. It's important to mention within the intrinsic aspects and qualities of this period of trial, before achieving what we long for, that it's very likely that our being will be shaken by the uncertainty and the way future scenarios will unfold, which may seem blurry and uncertain. This, when confronted with our need for control and our desire to know what the future holds, will make this stage a bit challenging, and for some, it's difficult to navigate. But in reality, even this uncertainty about what is to come serves a purpose. The fact that we don't know what lies ahead pushes our soul to trust, not only in the process or in the universe, but in itself and the abilities it has acquired, not to mention the strength and perfection of its being. Under this premise, we must understand that the universe wants to measure how you see the knowledge and skills you have developed, because if we don't trust in what we ourselves have done or sown, we are definitely not deserving of that long-awaited moment of triumph when we embrace what we dream of. A person who is confident in themselves and their abilities will understand that they can walk with firm conviction and the full assurance that whatever the future holds can be handled by their being. Just as we observe with deep admiration all the skills and qualities of others, we must be able to recognize what lies within ourselves, and much of this is linked to self-awareness and self-healing, aspects we have been addressing throughout our encounter. But this is not all. We will also measure how deeply we have retained true knowledge and the dictates of the universe regarding our life and journey. As everyone who has come this far knows, our soul journey has been perfectly designed, and that is why there is not a single thing that escapes the control and power of the universe, which, in complicity with our soul, draws absolutely every scenario in perfection so that we can grow and nourish ourselves with knowledge. Understanding this, we will be able to move forward with security and conviction, as everything that presents itself will be taken as something that will ultimately have a good and harmonious outcome with our being and our soul, and we will focus more on living the experience and acquiring the knowledge generously bestowed upon us. Regardless of what the future may hold for us, we will still walk with firm and unstoppable steps, knowing that everything can be controlled, managed, and healed in the perfect and fitting way for us. We will also come to see the power within us, from which we can manage the energies of any situation that arises on our journey, because we will know the power within us, and because we will have a clear understanding of that ability to adapt to the different panoramas and parts of our journey. This quality of ours is commonly known as resilience and results in an impressive form of adaptation that our soul and our being have developed not only in this life but throughout our entire journey. Although we may not consciously manage all the files of memories and recollections that our being has been collecting throughout its various incarnations, it is obvious to think that not all of them were in the present time, and that our soul has been able to transit many decades in this earthly plane. Even though we may not yet know it, our being may have been part of great and important events in history, some of which directly shaped everything we are experiencing today at a social and cultural level. The actions and the way we behaved in the past resonate into the future, not only in relation to ourselves, but also to other people and humanity as a whole. Everything we saw at some point in our lives is part of what we now know, and although we may only access a part of those memories through energetic and holistic therapies, what we can do is become aware that we have always had the ability to adapt to our environment. Many things were not the same in remote times, not only externally, but also socially. Yet we have always been able to emerge victorious from them, using everything in our environment to benefit ourselves, our goals, and the mission we fulfill on Earth. Therefore, this moment may be ideal for you to embrace the resilience within you, use it as a staff, and continue walking from it toward the triumph that is foreseen for our lives. Entering into balance and harmony with synchronicities. Although the concept of synchronicity is widely recognized, it is worth refreshing our knowledge, as at this closing moment of our encounter, understanding these events as messages from the universe becomes crucial. Renowned Dolores conceptualized these events as situations and moments carefully orchestrated by the universe, which serve as approval or a means of support from the universe toward our determinations and the parts that compose our journey. Every time a soul aligns with its path of travel, its true purpose, and elevated energies, it ends up provoking the universe to send these winks and messages of complicity and support to our reality. These messages, sent in the language of the universe, are represented by events or situations that end up aligning perfectly with the determinations or paths chosen by the individual, as if in one way or another it were being indicated to us that we have chosen well and are heading for success. For many, these types of events generate great surprise as they understand the profound message that this brings to them. However, others choose to treat it as a simple coincidence, ignoring the fact that nothing in our lives is coincidental, much less an isolated event. Everything in our reality holds deep meaning and a wonderful message, one that also becomes part of the factors that influence our mood when moving forward. But at this particular point, the idea of synchronicities is not so relevant. Rather, it is the perfect way in which we are going to be able to synchronize with them. As if we could predict exactly how the universe will give us a boost, everyone capable of observing and detecting the manifestation of synchronicities in their life ends up enjoying a powerful tool capable of guiding us with greater harmony and the flow of the universe's energies. During this trial period, not everything will be negative, as amidst all the adversities, challenges, and hurdles, we will see how the universe makes everything flourish in our favor and for our soul journey. We will enter a state where everything seems to align in our favor, rather than us aligning with the energies of the universe. But what we are truly experiencing is how we insert ourselves into the natural flow of things and use that current to take us where we truly wish to be. There will not be a single part of you that doubts once these synchronicities become present. And from the perfect way in which you align with them, you will understand that what you are experiencing is nothing other than this period before experiencing manifestation. As we see, there are many changes, challenges, and situations that arise in the framework of the long-awaited manifestation. But as mentioned at the beginning, the universe has a great responsibility in determining that you are completely ready to receive that seed of light that the universe places in you to make flourish. All the blessings and miracles you seek can be built in your reality from what you demonstrate in this profound evaluation period, where not only the universe will be measuring and testing every part of you, but you yourself will be able to evaluate and strengthen whatever is necessary. Life presents us with a beautiful foreboding of greatness, with these trials, this time of isolation and recognition, and above all, from the strengthening of all the lessons and knowledge acquired. And after seeing all this in your life, you should not doubt for a second that the moment to embrace your dreams is closer than ever, so continue with faith, perseverance, and the same commitment you have pledged since the beginning of your journey. And if amidst all this you experience any doubt or feel that there is much more beyond what we have outlined in this encounter, do not hesitate to go to the comment section and let us know, because it will not only be me, but all the souls gathered here who will be there to read and help you as needed. If you have enjoyed our brief encounter, please do not hesitate to give us a like and subscribe to the channel, because here we will be opening up the space for us to converse every day, share knowledge, and grow together. Remember to invite everyone who wishes to evolve and improve, just like you. For now, we bid farewell, but very soon our souls will reunite again. Until then, I send you blessings and light.